Hey everyone, and welcome to another GameCast review. Today I'll be reviewing Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition, now available for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC and Nintendo Switch. This isn't my first time playing Vesperia, neither is it my first time reviewing it. Back when I was just starting out on YouTube, I decided to review the game even though it was already several years old. Now, 5 years later, I'm back to review one of my favourite Tales of games, now with added content. The Tales games have always had an incredibly strong focus on characters and their interactions with one another. The overarching story is still important, but it's not the focus. One of my favourite aspects about Vesperia is how it handles the main character Yuri Lowell. See, Yuri has already been on his life-changing adventure. He's made mistakes, he's grown, and he's tired. He doesn't care for much, and the last thing he wants is to be dragged along on another adventure. Granted, he's only in his early 20s, but by JRPG standards, that's pretty old. While trying to track down a thieving mage, Yuri winds up escorting the naive Estelle on her journey to find Yuri's friend and rival Flynn. Despite already having his life-changing experience, that all happened within the walls of the capital, so Yuri has never really seen much of the outside world. He never really had a goal in mind for his life. That's what makes this interesting, as Yuri sort of latches onto Estelle's adventure as it changes moment to moment as he tries to figure out what he really wants. It's an interesting story and it takes a lot of interesting turns, thanks in no small part to Yuri's experience and how he may get his hands dirty to save his companion's trouble. He's a character that will do what needs to be done in order to progress, which works well with the rest of the cast and his interactions with Flynn, who grew up with Yuri but made different choices along the way. Gameplay in Vesperia is modelled after the older Tales of games. You travel around on wide overworlds and visit towns, dungeons and battle the occasional monster. Combat in Vesperia uses an active battle system where players can freely move around in a circular environment. There are simple attack, block and arts commands, and changing the directional input before attacking will change the effect given. New arts are learned on a regular basis and help expand your combos and give you and your party members much needed versatility. You can give vague orders to your companions like go all out or defend, and you can change the frequency in which they use items. But I miss the more advanced Tales systems that let you really dive into their AI behaviour, kind of like the gambit system of Final Fantasy XII. It's not the most amazing combat system out there, but it works well. The unique mechanics come outside of battle in Vesperia's skill system. This is a unique experience system that has the character gain new abilities or stat boosts from their equipment. These bonuses can be temporary as long as you have the gear equipped, or permanent once you've used them enough. I loved it the first time around and I loved it again now. I like how it gets you to use weaker gear just so you can learn new skills, or swap in specific items because you don't have enough skill points on hand to equip a particular ability. The Definitive Edition also adds 2 new party members, new mystic arts, new scenes and new minigames. Both Paddy and Flynn bring more variety to the game, with the former being more original and the latter being more in line with the traditional Tales protagonist. They add further diversity to an already pretty varied and expansive main cast. Paddy in particular is a huge departure for regular Tales characters, as she throws in a literal random element to gameplay that can screw you over or save you in a pinch. Presentation in Vesperia is pretty much on par with the original, just a little cleaner here or there. This is thanks to the original using a really nice stylized cel-shaded look. It let the game age very gracefully. Some character animations feel a bit awkward, given the current Tales of format, but it still looks great and the slight chibi style of the characters just suits the game so well. I haven't encountered any glitches or frame rate issues, but I have heard there is a little bit of FPS dipping in the Switch version when travelling on the overworld, as well as infrequent crashes. The voice work is mostly solid in the remaster. I say mostly as the Japanese voices are perfect and the original English dub suited the characters well. However, the newly voiced dialogue, such as new scenes with Flynn and Paddy, or previously unvoiced scenes, have been freshly recorded. Unfortunately, not all the voice actors returned for the remaster, so Troy Baker's Yuri will sound a little odd from time to time as a new voice actor was chosen for the new dialogue. Yuri isn't the only character either, but he is the most noticeable. It's not even an issue of the voice acting being bad. It's just so jarring because when you have an ear for it, you can tell when the voices flip-flop between lines, and it's more than a little awkward. Some of these new scenes have lower audio as well, and this is especially noticeable during new skits with Paddy and Flynn. Fortunately, the soundtrack is just as great as before and helps set the scene beautifully. If it sounds like I'm gushing about the game, it's because I am. I've always loved the Tales games, and Vesperia has long stood as one of my absolute favourites from the franchise. It stood the test of time well, and it's still just a blast to play. If you're like me and you've played the original but desperately wanted the full experience that you could never get, then this is an easy decision to make. If you're new to the Tales franchise or JRPGs in general, Vesperia is a pretty great starting point and definitely worth a buy. especially considering it's available on pretty much everything. I hope you enjoyed that video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and please let us know what you thought of Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition in the comments below. You can also find more from me right here as part of the review team, or over at Arisen Culture, where I first reviewed Vesperia quite some time ago. Until next time, bye!